Hello, dear listeners. Before this episode begins, and I can't believe we have to do this for a family comedy called Love on a Leash.
Trigger warning.
This episode includes mention of assault and suicide. Listeners' discretion is advised. Enjoy! Hi, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Braden.
Since the beginning of our friendship, we have bonded over a love of bad movies.
And now we're on a mission to endure every bad movie known to man.
It's gonna be like so
It's
fun.
gonna be crazy, bro. Cue music.
Bad movie bros, bad movie bros. If it's real good, it's not on this show. It's the Bad Movie Bros.
Hello, and welcome back to your favorite weekly podcast, Bad Movie Bros. Yes, Bad Movie Bros. We're back, baby. I just gave myself the ick when I said baby.
Don't call it a comeback.
With a brand new film
A masterpiece.
called Love on a Leash.
Ooh.
I thought you were singing the Doctor Who theme. Love on a Leash. I really don't know where to start or continue or end with this one. It's truly in a league of its own.
Yeah, this movie is very niche. It's a comedy. It's a thriller. I mean, they got some shots in here that make it kind of look like a horror. It's like one point, it's really strange. A story of love, abuse, at one point, suicide. It's got it all.
Your classic Amazon Prime family comedy.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot to say about this movie, so I'm like ready to start tearing it a new one.
Yeah, let's dive in. Let's try to explain what happens in this one.
So this movie is at the very core about a woman and a man finding love. And the way that they come about this is the man is a dog.
Yeah.
And the woman is a virgin who is being literally harassed by every member of her family and friend circle, as well as harassed by her coworkers, random men who enter her store. Like everybody, this woman's life sucks. And then she meets this dog.
Yes. And someone pointed out to me that it's supposed to be the Frog Prince, but with a dog. And I never even began to grasp that the multiple times we watched it because it doesn't show many signs of it. But when I was explaining it to someone, they were like, "Oh, so it's name the dog's name is Prince because it's like Frog Prince."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God." Never even that didn't even cross my mind. And that sounds unintelligent, but believe me, there's other things that distract you while watching this.
Yeah, this movie has, I would say, like 5 or 6 different subplots in the first 30 minutes that end in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You know, most movies have a plot that continues through, but this one does something really interesting where they just introduce something and then conclude it and then start the next plot. It's kind of like many little webisodes tied together into this weird string.
Yeah, it's like if they had a shotgun and the ideas were a scatter shot and they just blew a hole into the wall of this movie.
And I should correct myself. I said the dog's name is Prince, which it is, but I'm leaving out a very important plot point. I guess the dog's actual name is Alvin Flang.
Flying with an L.
We gotta give you a name.
I already have a name.
How about we call you Rover?
I already have a name. My name is Alvin Flang.
Voiced by none other than Stephen Kramer Glickman. Is that his name?
Gustavo from a show you might know if you were born in the 2000s, Big Time Rush.
But this is before his Big Time Rush breakthrough.
Yes.
And his parts are kind of just a movie on their own because spoiler alert, when the dog transforms into human Prince, it's a completely different person. So why they decided the dog should have the voice of a stand-up comedian making jokes at it the whole time and ad-libbing, I don't know, but I'm happy they did.
You can kind of tell that he phoned out about halfway through. That's when it's blatantly unavoidable that he's just there just to shoot the shit.
Yeah, the dog's very sarcastic when he's a dog, but then very loving and supportive and handsome when he's a model. But my favorite parts of the movie are when it's going back and forth between human and dog, because that's when it really gets interesting with the contrast.
The gimmick is that he, about halfway through the movie, can turn into a man only during the night.
Mhm.
And the whole movie is centered around this one woman's sexuality. And there is a shot in which she begins to sleep with the man in the night and then wakes up with the dog in her bed, and then she's just screaming. I think the implication is supposed to be, oh, this man that I slept with last night is a dog now. Oh my God, I want the man back. But it just ends up seeming like she slept with a dog. Yeah. There's another plot where I believe her coworker asks for her hand in marriage, but it turns out that he's gay. And also, they don't ever like explicitly say he's gay. They're just like, but you're... And then they just move right past.
It gave me Bohemian Rhapsody vibes, where they were trying to tell the story of Freddie Mercury, but keep it PG enough that they could play it in countries that would be offended by his sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, it's like offensive representation, and then this movie just takes it to a whole new level.
But then he's never brought up again. Like, you don't see him for the rest of the movie. He's in the first 20 minutes and then disappeared. Then it's Prince. She starts sleeping with the guy who was a dog.
My name is Alvin Flang.
Who, as a dog, is a comedian, but also a playboy prince who was cursed by a magic pond.
It's hilarious that it sets up all these weird rules around the dog and how he transforms into a human, but then it forgets them later in the movie, because I know that there's scenes where he's a human in the daytime, like at the dinner scene.
Yeah.
And then he turns into a dog at the pool or something. Like, what about the rules?
I think in that scene, it was cloudy and he was really worried about it. So they were just like, Lisa was pressuring him into like, take the big leap for me. Meet my boss. Like, okay. So he goes out and then turns into a dog. Lisa falls in a pool and then he has to like doggy paddle out, save Lisa. And then he's super embarrassed. Oh, on the topic of transforming, the scene where he transforms for the first time, it's out in this dark shot of the woods or like a cemetery or something. And it's just pouring rain. And Lisa, she like drops to her knees and she's like super sad. I think he had been lost the scene before or something like that. She had ran to the woods looking for Prince. And then just out of nowhere, she's like, I'm swearing off men now. And he transforms. And he's just standing over top of her.
At her final straw, he shows up. It's beautiful.
The thing is, the shot is horrifying because she is like literally on the ground in the woods. And then it's just an upshot of this dude. Like, you can't see his jump. It's going right past it. And he's glaring straight down at her. And you can just see his eyes peering over his pecs. And then just the rest of him. And it's just like horrifying shot.
I remember a scene where he had transformed recently and he has a doggy tail attached to him.
He was escaping her family friend who chased him to a bathroom. She didn't see him go in, but the last shot of him before he runs in is just some pants with a tail coming out of the top. And they don't ever do it again. And I'm kind of mad. I wanted to see more of that.
Chaos ensues, and then the dog, Prince / Alvin Flang, dies?
Yeah, he gets hit by a car. He ends up passing away. And then the big conclusion to the movie is essentially he is reincarnated about 80 years later after she's lived her whole life.
And it looks amazing. The makeup is just incredible stuff.
Phenomenal. I loved how they used that spray paint over her hair and kind of did her eyebrows. Basically, he shows up as a young dude who just has different hair color. Like, it's the same haircut and everything. They don't show his face at first, and he's kind of walking around the house, and she's just like looking at other stuff, just like, oh yeah, I'm selling the house. She also talks like really strange. She's very slow and very quiet, to show that she is aged. Time has passed. And and then she sees him. The last shot is them the last shot is them making out, stopping, and the camera pans around them for an uncomfortable amount of time because there is no music in this movie.
Yes, can we
At
talk
all.
about that? So apparently, the DVD version of this movie, the director placed a bunch of copyrighted songs into the movie. So when Amazon Prime, for whatever reason,
Alvin Flang.
decided to put this movie on their service, they had to cut all the music and they did not replace it. So you just get minute-long silent pauses. You also get a lot of moments of Alvin Flang / Prince singing along to music that is not there. It's
Mhm.
truly beautiful.
I can't believe I have to live on the street. Living on the street is hard, and also it hurts my feet. 'Cause I'm a dog, and it hurts my feet when it's hot outside, 'cause I'm a dog.
I want to bring up one other element that has stuck with me for a long time, and it's the scene where Alvin Flang / Prince gets a job in a commercial
Oh yeah.
because the dog goes off, gets hired for this commercial, and I guess is just given money. I don't know how that works. Usually owners are the ones to receive money for dogs. Alvin Flang takes the money, and for whatever reason that I'm still trying to figure out, I'm trying to decipher, Lisa is so angry at him for this, and I really cannot tell you why.
Yeah.
I really don't know. That's how I feel about every character in this. Their motives are the most unclear I've ever seen in the history of film. Like, I could not tell you one thing that is going through a character's mind through any of this movie.
Looking over this movie again, I see so many different things that I didn't notice initially. Like, there are random fart noises at random scenes. One of them is just when Lisa is like trying to help this woman get like a dress on. And then just out of nowhere, she's like pulling on her dress. And it's just like, but she's saying something, so you like half hear it. And I think it happens like a couple more times throughout the movie. And
Classic.
I just want to know what was going through the director's mind. Was there meaning?
Yeah, it's impossible to decipher what any of this is supposed to mean, but I'm so glad it exists. It's at least in my top 5 bad movies. Like, this is legendary.
Oh, yeah.
This is The Room level. Like, this is
Mhm.
something that I could just rewatch over and over again, trying to understand why any of it happened. But it's like a lightning in a bottle moment for all of the worst elements to come together for this director. And I love it.
Yeah, I mean, this movie encaptures everything that I think could go wrong with the movie.
It's pretty close to the epitome.
It's up there. I would go as far as to say that this is probably within my top 3 bad movies.
It truly is on a planet of its own. Like, you can't even begin. Even just describing this to people today who are asking about it, I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't think when you tell someone something is a movie, they're picturing it one way, and I'm like, don't picture that, because it doesn't look, sound, or feel like a movie that you've ever seen before.
I feel like there were so many different things going on, and they just couldn't pick one lane. But they were like, "Nah, we got to dabble in it all, baby. We got to pull from every little like facet of how can we make this movie bad."
It's so beautiful because these kind of movies, and they're rare, you can just tell that they were trying so hard. I think that's what makes the most beautiful kind of bad movie, is something like The Room, where it's inconceivable. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe. It's indescribable. The amount of work that someone put into this, it changes. I'm losing. I'm having a meltdown.
Yeah,
Literally, it changes the way you even look at the world. These kind of movies, to me, because it's an entire medium, and we're looking at some of the absolute worst filmmaking in history. Like, we're literally witnessing it. And that it changes the shape of everything, and it changes how I feel about art as a whole. I can't. It sounds like I'm being extreme, but I'm not. Like, this
is history being made.
is, though. Love on a Leash is truly in a league of its own in that the way that we are witnessing something that could never be recreated or
A renaissance, if you
it's
will.
a renaissance. I can't believe it. It's just so. Anyways, that's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it, Braden?
I feel like it needed more dogtail, but I think it got a good balance of different genres.
Mhm.
A good story, you know, like at its heart, it's a love story between a woman and a cursed dog,
My name is Alvin Flang.
and a magic pond, and sex. Literally, just
and
sex.
a lot of
That's-
green, like a lot of
so
green.
much. How do we not mention the green right off the bat?
I know
it's in every shot. Like
I don't know what it means.
She drives a green Beetle. Her house is like lime
Ugh.
green. Her entire wardrobe is green.
It's like the rejected Wiggles house.
Exactly.
How I feel about this movie is I've never urged anyone listening who hasn't seen this. Like, I've never wanted to urge people to watch something more, whether you
Yeah.
like bad movies or not, because this is the kind of stuff that you just can't even believe happened. This is not you're going to the theater and, oh, that movie was bad, like we should talk about that. Like, this is truly a mind-bending experience, and I can't recommend it enough. And for me, it's going to be 10 out of 10 flangs.
I would definitely give this a solid 9.5. I'm gonna say like 9.7. Upshots of a dude's pecs with his eyes peering over in the stormy rain, you know?
May I ask, like, what is the 0.3 for you? Because I don't think this could get more perfect, personally.
More farts, definitely. More farts would have definitely sold it a little bit more.
Maybe it would have gotten to Netflix if they had added a few more farts.
I feel like if they had some brand placement, that would, cherry on top, you know? You just,
I
like,
see.
a McDonald's breakdance scene or, like...
You think that they could find one company to sponsor this?
Well, they got a church to sponsor them.
Oh, my gosh.
And then they saw the movie and were like, nuh-uh. This is nothing about finding love or Christianity or something along those lines. I don't know what the original pitch was, but yeah.
Anyways, you heard it here first. That's Love on a Leash. Go watch it on YouTube. It's free. There's nothing holding you back. And thanks for joining us for another rendition of Bad Movie Bros. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff for weekly episodes. Oh, okay. This has been
Bad Movie Bros.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Farewell.
Living on the street is hard, and also it hurts my feet.
It's the Bad Movie Bros.